Hello and welcome back to another We Ourselves video. And today I want to talk about a Forbes article about Kang's return to the MCU minus Jonathan Majors. This story is just one of many in which the news media is reporting that Marvel is still going forward with Kang for the Avengers, but they're not going to have Jonathan Majors. This article was written by Paul Tassi for Forbes, and I just want to give a response to it because I personally am glad that Jonathan Majors is not coming back to play Kang, but I don't think any black actor should play Kang. And I've said that before in previous videos talking about Jonathan Majors and what the MCU did to that character, even before the assault allegations. And right from the start, I just wanted to say something about this article. Like so many of the mainstream media, they keep saying that Jonathan Majors was convicted of assault charges, but they never used the word misdemeanor. It was a misdemeanor assault charge, and it was considered a violation. It wasn't just straight up assault charges, and they never used the word misdemeanor because you already know where they're coming from in convicting this man, which they did even before the trial happened. And then, of course, now Grace Jabari is suing him in civil court. So it's a whole big mess. And I'm going to do a separate video talking about art imitating life or life imitating art when it comes to Jonathan Majors and his character of Kang. But that's another video for another time. I just want to talk about this idea of Kang being in the MCU. The conviction of Jonathan Majors on assault charges, and I'm just noting here, it should be misdemeanor assault charges, has thrown the MCU into a bit of chaos as Marvel unexpectedly fired him afterwards. That vacates the role of this phase's big bad, the multiverse spanning Kang, which led to a central question. Do you recast Kang with a new actor, or do you replace Kang as a villain entirely? The new report says it's the first one. According to insider Daniel Richmond, the current plan is to keep Kang around as the villain of Avengers 5 and the follow-up Avengers Secret Wars. You may recall that Avengers 5 was previously called the Kang Dynasty, though perhaps, if this is true, that may happen again. The report says that Marvel may have a second villain alongside Kang, but whether that's a sidekick or a bigger big bad, that's unclear. I would guess it's the latter. And I just want to pause here and say that the reporter goes on to speculate that it'll probably be Dr. Doom or even Galactus. And he talks about Coleman Domingo being in the running to replace Jonathan Majors as Kang. And I just want to say, as I said up front, nobody should play Kang. I think Coleman Domingo should just go sit down somewhere. And I don't think any black actor in Hollywood should audition to replace Jonathan Majors for Kang. And I'm not saying that because I want Jonathan Majors back. I want them to leave the MCU in a lurch because this is their own fault. They did not have to fire Jonathan Majors because his misdemeanor charges are not as bad as what some of the other people did. You even had Jeremy Renner, who actually came to Marvel and said, "Get rid of me," and they did not. So they did this to themselves, and I think they should be left in the lurch. One of the other things that this writer mentions is that he can't imagine that Dr. Doom would be introduced in one movie and then killed off. So he obviously either him or Galactus would have to be the big bad going forward. I'm reading this and I'm saying, well, that's exactly what they did to Kang. Let us not forget, before the allegations were ever done and that incident ever happened in March of last year, in Quantumania, you introduced Kang the Conqueror, the actual the Conqueror part of that title in his prime. You introduced him in a movie and you defeated him. And it wasn't just in any movie, it was in the movie of a third string Avenger. And then in that movie, the third string Avenger didn't even defeat him. It was his sidekicks, 3 women and some ants, you know? So it's like, I'm just wondering at this reporter's logic, because it's just so logical to him that you wouldn't introduce a big bad in one movie and then defeat them when that's exactly what they did to Kang, who, according to him, is instrumental because we need him in these Avengers things, if nothing else, to set up Dr. Doom or Galactus. So it's clear to me that Kang, as played by a black actor, is only important to this reporter as a way to set up what he clearly thinks is a better big bad villain, Dr. Doom or Galactus. And of course, I know we're going into a new phase, and of course we need to have a new big bad, but Marvel screwed this up themselves. Again, even before there were any allegations, even before that incident happened between Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabari, they had already screwed it up because Quantumania was written, shot, and came out before it happened. And they already had Kang the Conqueror defeated by a third-string Avengers sidekicks in his movie. So they had already done damage to this character. They did exactly what this guy says he can't imagine. It wouldn't make any sense for Marvel to introduce a big bad and defeat him in the same movie. Dude, they already did that. Second of all, they did this to themselves. They jumped the gun. They did not have to get rid of Jonathan Majors, but they did it. And I don't think Coleman Domingo or any other black actor should help them in their situation. Let Marvel swing in the wind when it comes to Kang, because you already killed off the character in Loki. He Who Remains, who was keeping everything in check, they had Loki replace the man. They've already gotten rid of Kang. Why would they bring back a variant of Kang when they've already showed all these other variants of Jonathan Majors? They screwed it up here. Let them swing in the wind with this mess that they created. No black actor should step into this part and should help them out just so you can be used to set up the next big baddie, Doctor Doom or Galactus or whoever the hell it's going to be. Don't do that. Why come into this role that Jonathan Majors worked so hard to create, come in at the last minute, take over just to be used? And in fact, all due respect to this writer, he says that he can't imagine them introducing somebody in one movie and then getting rid of them. Well, what the hell do you think is going to happen to the new actor who comes in as a new variant of Kang? Somebody we haven't seen before, we haven't experienced before. He's going to come in and he's going to be introduced and basically taken out in one or two movies. But that's okay for the black actor who's portraying Kang, as far as this article is concerned. What they are really interested in is Doctor Doom, which everybody is salivating over. Not me, but all these other people are salivating over, and they want him anyway. So Kang was going to have to be gone anyway. Let them swing in the wind. Let them do yet another rewrite on these Avengers movies. Coleman Domingo, go and sit down somewhere. Tell people that you're not interested, and nobody else should run in there to pick up the pieces of what Marvel has done and to help them set up the next big bad. Let them do this on their own. We, as black people, need to stop running in to save people once they screwed up something, which often involves screwing over us. Then they get in trouble, and then we got to come in and fix it. It just reminds me of what former President Barack Obama had to do. Somebody else crashed the economy. He had to come in. They give him the keys, and he has to get it out of the ditch, is what he famously said. And then once he gets it out of the ditch, now they want to come back. They crashed this thing. They did not have to fire Jonathan Majors, but they did, and they had already defeated Kang the Conqueror in one movie. Now they want to keep him on life support so they can hand it off to somebody else. Coleman Domingo, go somewhere, do something else. Stop the rumors, say no, go about your life. And every other black actor who's on people's list, and I hate it when our own people sit up there and try to recast Jonathan Majors. No, let Marvel swing in the wind with this. Let them figure out what they're going to do. Do not help them take Kang, further degrade it just so they can hand it off to somebody else. And I really feel strongly about it, as you can tell. But there's also another very basic reason. I think that Kang was used over and over, and I said it was going to happen, and it happened. You saw that man ritualistically killed over and over and over. In one Loki episode, they consistently killed two versions of him over and over and over again. And he's destined not to go forward. So all those different versions that Jonathan Major came up with and imbued life into, they were going to kill them all anyway. I don't know any other actor who's had so many different versions of him playing the same character that were destined to be killed. And like I said, they did it to Kang the Conqueror. They defeated him in one movie, and in Loki, they consistently, almost comedically, had Sylvie kill He Who Remains, and then you saw Victor Timely torn apart multiple times. It is very ritualistic, and it is a very negative energy and impact on us as black men. No, Coleman, go somewhere and sit down. Do not volunteer for this. And all due respect to this reporter, You can have Dr. Doom, you can have anybody you want, but they should not do it on the back of another black actor because they screwed over Jonathan Majors and now they're going to literally screw over another black actor playing the same character. Don't do it. Let people like the writer of this article have their Dr. Doom, but they got to figure out another way to do it. We should not help and abet them in doing this.
Had this been an actual emergency, y'all would have been eaten. Because you don't listen. Save us, Mr. Black Man.
So obviously, I think the article was trash. I don't care that it came out in Forbes because it doesn't make any sense. The guy literally contradicts himself in what he's saying. To him, it makes no logical sense to introduce a big bad and kill him in the same movie when they literally did that to Kang in Quantumania. He wants Dr. Doom, and so many people like him out there want Dr. Doom, and they want to use another black actor playing Kang as their stepping stone. No. Coleman, no. Don't do it. And so anyway, that's my response to this article, but also all the other articles and things about Kang staying in there. And people, please stop asking that Jonathan Majors come back and play the part. He should go off in his life too. Nobody, no black actor, no black man should play Kang again for the MCU. That's just my opinion on it. Tell me what you think in the comments. As always, like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video.